Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on Lockdown Thursday and of course Are You OK Day. And of course let's turn our attention now to footy and of course just a moment ago we just continued our QAFLW interviews. Of course just before we just had Asprey. Today we've turned our attention to Bond Uni. And of course, well, lucky for them, they've deserved a week off this week because they finished on top of the ladder, minor premiers, one game clear of their Gold Coast rivals, Coolangatta, of course, who also got the week off as well. Of course, we've got a very special guest on the show from Bond Uni to tell us all about the amazing season, including the clinching final round win over Coorparoo on the weekend. And of course, her name's Krystal Scott. She joins us right now. Thanks, Krystal, for joining us.
No worries. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
No worries. Well, I saw your game on the live stream from down here in Melbourne. It was pretty even for the first couple of quarters, and then you really pulled away in that second half, especially that last quarter. Tell us a bit about the game against Coorparoo, who was the grand finalist from last year.
Yeah, look, tough game for us. I think every game this season is pretty close, pretty even. So we didn't go in with any preconceived ideas at all. We just wanted to go in and play our game. And I think Coorparoo really brought it. They had high intensity from, the first bounce till the last siren. So it was a great game to play. But yeah, like you say, I think we had a great second half, which was what we aimed to come out and do after half time. And it really paid off, which was great for us.
Now, going into the game, even though I think you pretty much signed up, I guess, the week off anyway from the week before, but obviously you pretty much signed up top spot going into it. Did you just try to, try to do any new things at all heading to finals, knowing that you had the week off anyway?
Look, we didn't change anything. Our plan was to continue to develop the game style and the gameplay that we're trying to carry out for the whole finals or for the whole season in general. Look, we had a chat before the game. We knew that our week off, like you say, was secured, but we didn't want that to dictate the way we played. We've got a real focus on how we want to approach the final series coming in, and it was a really big thing for us to make sure that we stuck to our guns. Tried to continue to develop in the areas that we need to continue to work on to give us our best chance in the weeks to come. So we really just went in with what we've always been trying to focus on and to just keep improving, which I felt like we did, which was good.
The week off now, and of course your next game is in 2 weeks' time. Obviously you won't know who your opponent is until the weekend. I guess how is going to be approaching this week with the week off, and obviously the following week when you have to prepare for your second semi-final?
Yeah, look, it's nice to have the week off. It gives your body a little bit of a chance to recoup with a little bit of a lighter load without the game. We're still going to train. Obviously, like you say, we don't know who we're going to be playing next week. With that in mind, we've tried the whole season to really focus internally on our style of play, less focused on what our opponent's going to bring to the table. So I think for this week, we're not really trying to focus on who we're going to be versing. That's, it's going to be a tough match regardless. So I think the thing we're focusing on this week is letting our bodies really recover and get in the best shape we can, get a few touches on the footy. We're not training tonight and we're going to get together on the weekend. And yeah, just keep our bodies fresh and then just, play the way we play for next week, regardless of who the opponent might be.
Now, I know this team's had some true, absolute spectacular games. We mentioned about the Coorparoo game. The week before, you just went up to the home of Queensland footy in Lijon Park in Yeronga and took on a team that was on red-hot form in Yeronga, and you absolutely demolished them. And I think you kept them to 2 goals in that game. I guess, are you happy where you're at, and especially at this time of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think, anyone would be absolutely stoked to sort of finish top of the ladder. But like I said earlier, the top, really any team in the comp, it's anyone's game, and finals is always a different ball game. You know, the intensity goes up yet again. That game against Yeronga was not it was not an easy game. They've got so much experience and depth in their team. It certainly felt like every single minute was an absolute grind. And I think, you know, they're going to be a force to reckon with moving forward. But yeah, look, I think it's just the finals is going to be different. We are coming in a great position. We've got a great side. We've got some really strong young talent coming through, which is exciting for them and for us to play alongside them. So I think it's still anyone's game, but yeah, we are happy with where we're sitting at the moment internally. Yeah.
Now let's talk a bit about, I guess, this year in particular. Obviously, it's been a pretty different year, especially speaking to all the players they've had on the show from different clubs, including yourselves. That obviously he's played the first 4 games as it was just a normal season. And then you had the big break in the middle where I guess no one knew what was going to happen. And then now you've got back into it. I guess for the team, how difficult has that been, especially, you know, down in the Gold Coast where obviously, you know, the restrictions and especially, you know, is stuck near the border with New South Wales as well. How difficult has that been throughout this year to try to manage, and especially the success that not just yourselves have had finishing top, but obviously your crosstown rivals in Coolangatta have had too?
Yeah, look, I think it's been a tough year for all footy clubs or all sport in general, and just, you know, everyone everywhere. It's a year that no one could really foresee happening, and probably one that we're never going to experience again. So look, it's not something that we could have ever prepared for. And I think what we tried to do as a club was to try and stay connected as a group through social media and just be there for each other outside of football. Because like I say, we didn't know if we were coming back. We didn't know what the rest of the season was going to entail, whether there was going to be an end of the season. I think we were lucky because we got to have those few games, which I think, you know, AFL Queensland was really trying to push for us to get back, which is great for us. And I think that the hard thing was that with the restrictions, you couldn't do anything as a whole team. So keeping that real camaraderie and that culture was really difficult. But I felt like we, you know, we had different challenges and things going. I know Coolangatta were doing similar things down here on the coast. Anything we could do to keep the group feeling like we were united through this, you know, this storm that we really didn't know when was going to end. I think the comforting thing as well in the scheme of things is that everyone was going through it. You know, when the season got announced to come back, we were all coming from the same position. We'd all been through the same things. And I think that was quite comforting in the sense that, you know, it's an even playing field. We were all just desperate to get back to footy. We were all just excited to play again. So it's certainly been a difficult year, both, you know, with regards to football and just in general in life. So I think having footy to come back to, though, has really given us all something positive to work towards again, you know, amongst everything else that's been challenging. But I feel like I know, you know, we did our best, and I know that all the other clubs were doing as much as they could amongst their little groups to keep the clubs connected, keep their bodies ready. And yeah, it's just good to be back playing again, I think.
And what did you end up doing during the I guess the lockdown to get yourselves back onto the field again?
Yeah, so initially it was all, you know, we were restricted to exercising at home. So our S&C were giving us programs that we could just do ourselves as many times a week as we could manage, both physically and mentally and emotionally. I think it took a toll on everyone. You know, you'd look all across the world, and it was quite difficult to just really swallow what was happening. So I think initially it was just, you know, getting accustomed to what we were experiencing and being there for each other. And then we started to build into a bit of a training program. We did this run to the G. We as a leadership group, we developed a tracking app. So we'd all track our runs, and as a team, we're trying to clock up enough kilometres to, you know, run to the Gabba and back, so down to the MCG and back. So it was, yeah, we were trying to do things that kept us active as much as we could. Once restrictions got lifted, we were able to do small team organized, groups of 4 having a kick and things. But it was difficult until we actually got the approval in stage 2, I think it was, to come back as a whole group. But anything fitness we could do just to keep us doing something and keep us sane was really what we were trying. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned about the run to the G just a moment ago. Now, I spoke to your teammate Shannon about probably a month and a half ago, and when she mentioned it. Now, I believe my memory serves me correct that the boys beat you to the G, but not by much. I think it was just up to the stairs, at the end.
Yeah.
I think you were lead for most of it. I guess, was there a little competition between yourselves and the boys?
Yeah, look, the boys did it first. So they set the benchmark pretty high. Look, we gave it a good hot crack. We had a few girls that are just absolutely phenomenal runners, and they really carried quite a few of us. But look, we did our best and we came up just short. But the guys, no, they certainly set the benchmark pretty high.
Now, of course, footy down on the Gold Coast has been amazing, and obviously it's shown up with AFLW, but it was also shown in the QAFLW in the last 2 seasons or so. Obviously, yourselves making not just the C Grand Final, obviously the Development Grand Final as well last year, and obviously you're sort of hoping to do that again this year. And obviously Coolangatta has been there as well, and obviously with both of you finishing 1 and 2 again this season. I guess, how have you seen the footy down on the Gold Coast?
Look, I think, yeah, like you say, with the addition of the Suns, I think the calibre of players that are getting drawn to the Gold Coast has shot up in the last sort of year and a half. I think in addition, though, and I'm sure this is happening on a wide scale across, Australia in general, I just think the young talent, and now that there's a pathway for them, these young girls they're improving so quickly and they're becoming so elite so young. I just think the caliber of players is just increasing all the time. They're starting younger, they're developing younger, and they've got great role models around them with these AFLW girls. I think it's just been a really great thing for the Gold Coast. Obviously, Coolangatta have had a great season this year. I know, unfortunately, a couple of them, they've experienced a few injuries with a few of their really strong players, which is difficult, but they're such a strong depth club. With such a great list there, I know they're going to have a great end to the season, and it's exciting for the Gold Coast. With just the 2 of us in the QAFL from the Gold Coast, it's nice to have a really strong Gold Coast clash between the 2 of us and keep the competitiveness high. But I just think that the pathway that we're starting to develop for young girls and women to play sport in general, but especially through the AFL is just remarkable, and it's really starting to show. Through Brisbane as well, the talent just in Queensland, which is exciting because it's always difficult to compete with you guys down there with the young talent, but we're certainly improving. It's great.
Now, of course, great news for footy fans in Queensland. Obviously, the grand final has been moved to Brisbane, even though it's our Melbourne disappointment. But, of course, we can't do anything because we're in lockdown at the moment. So, of course, we would be happy to send it up north. So the question I need to ask you is, since, obviously, with Queensland getting the grand final, what did that mean to you and the team, but also especially footy in Queensland, especially women's football? And obviously, I forgot to mention about Maroochydore, obviously, in the Sunshine Coast in 3rd this year as well. I guess you must be feeling pretty good up in Queensland, especially I think you're smashing the Brisbane teams in the women's competition at the moment because obviously both coast teams have finished 1, 2 and 3 this year.
Yeah, I suppose the coast is the place to be, hey? No, look, I think unfortunately we haven't actually got to verse Maroochydore this year with the few games that were scheduled for us. We're interrupted by a few different COVID scenarios. But look, yeah, I think that the ladder really doesn't show the competitiveness between us. I think it's it's great to say, look, 1, 2 and 3, but I really feel like that doesn't mean a whole lot. It's I try to go into every game, thinking even slate. And I think the trouble is if you don't, you come in with all these preconceived ideas and it ends up kicking you in the backside. So I think the comp is just very even amongst us all. There's a great spread of You know, of course, the AFLW players that get to come back through and feed into all our clubs. And then just the strength of the QAFL girls themselves is great, spread throughout all the teams. So I think, yeah, the coast teams have done well, but it's going to be anyone's game on the day. And obviously, it's really exciting having the final up here. You know, gosh, I don't even know the last time it wasn't in Melbourne, many years ago. But look, I think Melbourne is the footy hub, so I think that's you know, the place where it needs to be. But we are stoked to have it, and you know, we will do our best to give it all the credit that it deserves. And it's really exciting for us. You know, Queensland, I think the football up here is really growing, and you can feel this excitement in the air. Just, you know, seeing it in the media and that, it's really exciting. It's a bit of the talk of the town in the footy world. So we're pretty stoked to have it, that's for sure.
Talk a bit about your footy journey first, which is how did it all start and why did you choose it?
Well, my sporting background, I actually played professional tennis. So I played tennis full-time for 8 years. I played over in America, and I have 4 older brothers that all played AFL at just, you know, various levels, nothing too fancy. And I ended up having one day, and I've always wanted to play AFL, and there wasn't really ever a pathway when I was a bit younger. So I ended up retiring from tennis as a player, and I was just coaching, and I wanted to give footy a crack, and I contacted Bond University, and they got me down for a few games, and we actually went on to win that season, which was a phenomenal experience, one that I will never forget, that's for sure. And then quickly I realized what a passion this was for me, and I really wanted to take it to the next level. I've always loved elite level sport. I love the professionalism and the challenge that it brings every day, mentally, physically. So I knew it was something that I wanted to pursue now that there was that sort of a pathway and an avenue for it. I got in touch with the Brisbane Lions, and I was lucky enough to be their rookie draft in end of 2017. So I had 2 seasons with them, and unfortunately I had a season-ending injury, which I'm thankfully now fully recovered from, and yeah, so it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but I'm ready I'm back in full flight, and hopefully, yeah, getting back to that elite level again. Bit of a windy one.
Now, you mentioned one of those highlights, which was the premiership at Bond in your first season. Tell us a bit about it. Now, obviously, that ultimately the following year it promoted Bond into the top tier competition. Tell us a bit about the grand final, and I guess how good was it to hold the Premiership Cup, and how long did you wear your medal for?
Look, it was a phenomenal win. I think it was a little bit surreal. For me, it was a very strange feeling. I'd come from an individual sport, and to suddenly be able to share a win with, 20 other players, you've got 40 in the club, you've got all your support staff, your coaches. It was, and then all the boys team celebrating. It was a very different experience from any celebrations I'd had in tennis. So I really enjoyed it. That team feeling. I think the medal, we had a competition that night to wear the jersey the longest and the medal the longest. And I know that I didn't win, but I was pretty close. It must have been, a fair few hours after the final siren was heard. But it was an awesome experience. And, that's obviously why we play footy, to just have the opportunity to play in such pressure challenged games. That's, where we all thrive to be. And I hope that, obviously, we hope that we can get the same opportunity to play in that game again this year.
Now, I spoke to your teammates early on. I was there, as I mentioned, Georgia Bremer and Shannon Dankit. Tell us how special is to play alongside those two?
Look, they're very different personalities, very, very skillful players. A lot of talent, I think just their drive on the field. Shannon is our captain this year. She brings such calmness, composure, and just such drive to leave everything out on the line. She's a brilliant captain for us and brilliant leader across the whole field. She's one that you really want to do everything for her and for the rest of the team. So she's unbelievable to play with. She always gives 100%. which always makes you want to strive for more, which is what you want in a captain. And gee, she's a character. She may be little, but you know, big things come in small packages, and she is just a dynamite out on the field. You know, her intensity, head over the footy, her, you know, just her aggression at the ball, no fear is really, it's something that stands out when I think of her as a player. And so to have them on my team, thank goodness I'm not versing them. But yeah, it's great to play alongside them, and obviously, you know, many others in the team as well. Yeah.
Now, what does the sport of footy mean to you now, and especially playing the Bond Uni Bullsharks?
Look, obviously I love playing footy because I love pushing my body and pushing my mental strength in sport. Sport has always been a big thing for me. But as I'm starting to get older, I'm really changing. The passion for why I like to play sport is changing. I'm really enjoying helping others grow to their potential and leading by example. I think trying to create a club that's going to really leave behind a strong legacy, you know, and creating the culture at the club where these young girls can feel comfortable to develop and thrive, and, you know, hopefully follow in footsteps that we're all creating for them. And hopefully one day we can step away from the club and know that we've, you know, left a really good imprint there is something that's really important for me. You know, I don't believe that playing sport is a forever thing. You know, there's a lot that can happen at high level sport. So for me, making my mark in as many ways and having an impact on as many young people as I can is really important. But obviously I love playing, and yeah, it's just a great sport, really.
Now, what you've already achieved, you mentioned that you played 2 seasons at AFLW and obviously winning a premiership with Bond. Is there any other goals that you want to reach in the sport?
Yeah, look, I was with the Lions for 2 seasons, and I didn't get to make my debut. So for me, I don't feel like I have come near my potential as a player. I really am striving to, you know, get back up to AFLW level and represent my team and really sort of stamp my mark on the ground and play at the highest level, hopefully for a few years to come. But yeah, look, I think I'd really like to reach that level as a player. I'm really passionate about coaching. Obviously, I've been coaching tennis for a long time. We have a tennis academy, but I really enjoy coaching football. I think there's something that you can really teach young girls, not just about footy itself, but there's so many life lessons that come out of playing footy, and just the interaction in the group, the things that you can learn. I'd love to have that sort of an impact down the line, even when I've finished playing. So I think I'm hoping that there's a future in footy in one way or another. And I'm also studying physio. So whether that's as a support staff in the medical side or as a player or wherever that may be, I'm hoping there's a longevity in it for me.
And what will be your advice to our listeners out there, especially in Queensland, that should come down and support the team throughout the final series and obviously the grand final? Hopefully the grand final could be down the Gold Coast.
Hopefully. Yeah, look, for anyone who's out there playing, you know, just keep giving it everything you've got. Obviously for these young girls, never give up on playing. If this is what you want to do as a long-term goal, just keep at it, okay? Talent takes you so far. It's the hard work that really carries you over the line. And for all these Gold Coasters, come and get around the sport on the coast and in Brizzy. You know, AFL in Queensland is really just starting to, you know, start its rise to its potential. So get around it, support your local clubs. It's a great weekend out when you get around and cheer us on. Got big games coming up. It's going to be awesome footy, and every extra fan cheering on the sideline helps you run that little bit harder. So we'll be there waiting for you.
Now let's finish up with a couple of light-hearted questions about your teammates. Firstly, who had the most embarrassing moments on the field this season, and what was it?
All right, I'm going to throw my captain under the bus here. She managed to kick a goal for the other team. She probably admitted this herself when you asked her, but it was a windy day. It just came off the side of the boot. She's certainly got a brilliant kick, so which made this all the funnier. Crossed it in front of goals and it just went straight through. And I think it was would have been our opposition's first goal. So yeah, I think that one takes the win for me.
Yes, she did mention that, and she did admit it. So, who's the comedian in the team?
Oh, probably either Georgia Bremer or Ellie Hampson. Between the two of them, Ellie had a commentary game for us the other day, and I think she, 80% of the game she was talking about the girls' fake tan. So she really brings, a really light attitude to the game, but she certainly makes us laugh 80% of the session, which is great.
Well, so we might have to get Ellie on the show sometime throughout this year too.
You'll have to. She's a character.
Now, I know there's this thing called TikTok going on around at the moment. Now, I have to ask, who's the best singer and dancer in the team?
If you heard them all singing before the game, you probably would say none of them. They all sing in a group. They all dance in a group. I think I'm going to give it to the Levi sisters, the two of them. Maddie and T and Levi, they bust out the vocals and they bust out the moves. So I think they can take it. So yeah, that's theirs for sure.
Now, talking about pre-game, does the team have a pre-game song? And if so, who runs that playlist?
Look, there isn't one song, not that I'm aware of. I'm always a little bit in my own bubble pre-game, but I certainly do hear it all. Paris Lightfoot is in charge of our playlist pre-game. She gets it all sorted on Spotify, brings the big speaker and gets us all pumped up. So there isn't one that I can name. I'm shocking with songs anyway, but Paris is in charge of getting the tunes going for us.
Do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
I think I used to. I don't. I don't have much of one anymore. I like to generally strap my own ankles. That gets me in the hair, but I don't have anything cool or funky. I used to insist on wearing double socks, and then I think I left my boots out in the sun and they got too tight, so I've gone back to normal everything else. So I haven't got any cool superstition, unfortunately. Ellie might be one that can give you something a little bit more exciting, but I certainly... maybe listening to all the Bond girls sing might be a calming, soothing pre-game for me.
Now, we'll finish off with this two final ones, which is now during the lockdown that you've had right at the start of the year or close to the start of the year, did you try anything new, and do you have now a hidden talent that you didn't think you had?
I think I'm better now at procrastinating than I was before. I think, uni's all gone online and there's, everything that I can rather be doing at home seems to be taking over, but nothing miraculously good. I still can't cartwheel or handstand or anything like that. No, I think you've got me stumped on that one. No, I didn't pick up anything cool. I wanted to learn guitar and it never happened. I think I was procrastinating. So, you got me on that one.
We'll finish off this one last one. I know at footy clubs there's always nicknames around footy clubs. Who has the best one at your team?
Yeah, Molly Ritson. She's one of the Gold Coast Suns girls. Her nickname is Krystal. That one always tends to give me a giggle because you sort of see her as a meat patty every time you go to kick the footy to her. So that's probably my favourite one actually of those. There's a few others. A few are pretty stock standard, but I think I'll let Krystal take this one out.
I love your explanation of that. I'm sure she'll love hearing that. Well, Krystal, thank you so much for joining us. It's awesome having you on the show. Obviously, please send our best wishes to the team for us. And obviously, your finals campaign starts not this weekend, but obviously the following weekend. And let's hope you're 2 wins away for a premiership.
Fingers crossed, hey? We'll keep doing our thing. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been good talking to you.
No worries. And that's Krystal Scott there. Of course, we're on the Bond Uni Bullsharks women's football team. Of course, make sure you get down there. Of course, their first finals, of course, not this weekend, the following weekend down at Robina. And of course, we'll send through, of course, the details and how you can go about going down there. Of course, once they know who their opponents are after the end of this weekend. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on Are You OK Day.